FD. Mr. Bloom has 2 minutes.
Commissioner, Mr. President, I rise again, I'm afraid, to make the same old hoary speech that I've been making here for several years, and that is, it is my opinion that you do not really understand the concept of banking. All the banks are broke. Bank Santander, Deutsche Bank, Royal Bank of Scotland, they're all broke. And why are they broke? It isn't an act of God. It isn't some sort of tsunami. They're broke because we have a system called fractional reserve banking, which means that banks can lend money that they don't actually have. It's a criminal scandal, and it's been going on for too long. To add to that problem, you have moral hazard, a very significant moral hazard from the political sphere. And most of the problem starts in politics and central banks, which are part of the same political system. We have counterfeiting, sometimes called quantitative easing, but counterfeiting by any other name. The artificial printing of money, which if any ordinary person did, they'd go to prison for a very long time. And yet governments and central banks do it all the time. Central banks repress the amount of interest that rates are, so we don't have the real cost of money, and yet we blame the real retail banks for manipulating LIBOR. The sheer effrontery of this is quite astonishing. It's central banks that manipulate interest rates, Commissioner. And plus, underneath all this, we talk loosely, in a rather cavalier fashion, do we not, about deposit guarantees. So when banks go broke through their own incompetence and chicanery, the taxpayer picks up the tab. It's theft from the taxpayer. And until we start sending bankers, and I include central bankers and politicians, to prison for this outrage, it will continue.
Welcome back to Crash and Eddie. It is February 15th. And we are getting buried in snow where I live. Crash has the night off. So we figured we'd give him a little break here. This is going to be an XRP-centric video. So just wanted to cover a couple things since it seems like XRP and Ripple's really heating up. It's moved up to around 60 cents right now. It's at, where are we at here, 56, but it's up from like the 30s and 40s despite what's going on with the lawsuit and everything. So things are heating up. It's starting to feel like there is going to be a settlement. You know, I had thought pretty much from the beginning that it was going to settle and not go to court, but you never know with these things, and a lot of smart people thought that it would go all the way to court, and it still could, but it's a lot of people are coming out with the opinion, and we're going to listen to one video from a lawyer that's pretty hot these days on YouTube about this lawsuit. So he's got some interesting things to say. So we'll check that out in this video, and this will be a quick one, but I just wanted to really check in on that and see where things are going. So Bitcoin's did reach a record high of over 49,000. Right now it's 48.57 or so, about 48.5. So it's pushing on that 50. It'll get there, I'm sure. Everything else is, moving all around. A lot of volatility. Things really fired up over the last few days or week or so. And then over the weekend took a little step back, which is just so healthy of a bull market and telling that that's what's going on. So expect to see a lot of growth to come with all the high quality cryptos and some definite steps back. There's going to be, from time to time, huge downswings. So expect huge volatility that comes with growth. So anyways, So let's move to this next video real quick here. 1 second.
My name is Ed Metzger. I'm the Chief Technology Officer for OnePayFX. OnePayFX is the name that Santander has given to its new proposition for international payments. Banco Santander is the biggest bank in the Eurozone by market capitalization, and we have over 140 million customers around the world. The reason why we as Santander were interested in Ripple and able to move quickly into this space was driven ultimately by the customer need, and actually that search for solutions as to how to create that kind of customer experience. Ripple helps us address some of those pain points that we have seen in the past with some of our customers, and that's around being able to generate that certainty and that transparency along the transaction so that we can show that to our customers. When they're making their payment, they can see how much is going to arrive, and they've got that certainty about the timing as well. And Ripple also helps us address the speed point as well. So we've seen some of our payments now are instant, which for an international payment is a great achievement, and that something that our customers have really been happy with. In the territories where we've launched it, we're seeing customers do more business with us. So we see more transactions from the same set of customers, and that's a very positive reinforcement of the service. We've also seen some evidence of customers changing their behavior. So as they understand that the service is faster, and as they understand that service gives them that certainty of how much is going to arrive there, we've seen some evidence of customers using it in new ways, a little bit more akin to a standard domestic payment. And that customer behavior, again, is very positive for us because it tells us that people feel comfortable using the service. In our partnership with Ripple, what's worked really well for us is not just the technology, but also the partnership with other financial institutions. We found that certainly a very important point as we've expanded and scaled up the service to our customers. Our most important ROI from this is the customer satisfaction. The thing that's driven us forward is the positive feedback that we've got from offering the OnePayFX service to our customers. And I think as we've mentioned, that's the key attributes are around the certainty, the transparency, and underpinned by a competitive price. Ripple is part of that mix that allows us to deliver that service. But the key return on investment for us is being able to do more business with more customers and having those customers coming back to us in the future.
Yeah, so that's what it's about with Ripple. You got to understand XRP is not a Ripple product. It's more of their secret sauce. It's what makes them special. But what they do is they're a software company. They sell software. And what he describes there is the software that, they connect to different banks and financial institutions, and then XRP works in the background to move the money. So that is, just kind of the basics on Ripple. And that's why I like it. No financial advice on this channel, just for entertainment and education purposes. Don't forget that. Hit the like and subscribe. But that's why I like Ripple. That's why I'm pretty big on it, because it's got really one of the most compelling use cases, and it's really the most advanced use case, and it's got the best team, and it's got a lot going on. So, and I think things are, people talk about, and I really agree that things are very much coordinated, and the timing for this lawsuit is nothing short of uncanny, and things are being rolled out in kind of a systematic fashion to switch over to a new financial system that is going to be run by cryptocurrency. It's all going to be run through crypto and by different cryptos. And there's certain ones that are going to be really important and used a lot. You can kind of see them, and we'll talk about them on this channel as much as we can and just bring different ones to light. Some of them will be more advanced and actually to market like XRP, and some will be flyers, some really interesting stuff that we're going to dig out and show you guys as potential, investment opportunities. And you can kind of look at it and also just learn about technology and crypto. So let's get to this other video. Now this is, let me just cue this up here. Okay, so this is Jeremy Hogan, who's an attorney, and he's kind of taken on viewing this. And there's been a couple other attorneys that have too, but this guy has been kind of come to the forefront, and he's taken on just viewing this Ripple settlement. I'll put a link to this whole video. It's rather short. We're going to listen to most of it, but he has some interesting context about this lawsuit and just some background on it. So the lawsuit is about Ripple selling an unregistered security. That's really what the SEC is coming at them for. And they've also tagged Chris Larson and Brad Garlinghouse to this personally. So, and we're going to see what happens with the lawsuit, but it really kind of put a damper on the price. The price is, XRP's fighting through it, and as it becomes used more, I mean, there's no stopping this. So they only do like 10% of their business in the US anyways, so they could be deemed a security. It's not going away. They're still it's got just too much use case, and it's being, they signed up, I think, 15 new customers within a week after the lawsuit too. So, I mean, it's going to continue. And I think really what this is about is basically Ripple's sitting on 55 billion XRP in escrow. They set up this escrow a long time ago it was like in 17 or 16. I remember I was just getting into it, and this was all coming out, and it was around like 3 cents. And they came out and said, okay, everyone was worried about, because they have 100 billion XRP out there. But really, to market is only 45 billion. So there's 55 out there, and they didn't want it. Everyone was worried about them just flooding the market with it or whatever. People don't get that it's a currency anyways, and you need to do that in a systematic way. But anyways, they decided they'd set up this escrow that's automatic. It's they don't really control it. It goes out $1 billion a month, and typically they put a lot back into the escrow. But so that's that this lawsuit really, when you break it down, it's about the escrow. It's about what is going to happen with this escrow, if you ask me. And there a lot of things could happen. I mean, they could say, okay, we're going to take over the escrow, we're going to give some to the IMF. I mean, XRP is pretty valuable if you move money around. You will see, it's a different experience. Crypto is in general, but XRP is their software is amazing, and XRP is pretty amazing as far as just moving it fast. And the guy from Santander explains just the transparency. I mean, what customer doesn't want to know, okay, how much you're going to pay in a fee and when the other end is going to get the money? I mean, unbelievably, today, without crypto and XRP and different use cases, you don't get that in today's world. So there's a ton of money moving around, and it's all just just a mess as far as just knowing what fees you're going to pay and when people are going to get it. Stuff gets lost. I mean, it's like a 6% failure rate with the SWIFT system. So yeah. So if XRP would become this valuable, you're not going to they're not going to let a company hold like trillions and trillions of dollars. The government's they're not going to allow it. So I think part of this has to do with the escrow, and that's a big factor. And I think through this settlement, there's just going to be a lot of definitions, maybe in crypto as a whole, but also what happens with the escrow. So, all right, let's listen to this, and we'll talk about it.
Jeremy Hogan, and welcome to a Saturday morning emergency crypto edition of Legal Briefs. I did a vlog just yesterday evening, and then something new came out, which is so interesting that I felt the need to wake up early, drink some coffee, and share my excitement with you good people for 5 minutes. There's something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear. Okay, so in yesterday's vlog, I talked about how the acting chair of the SEC, Ms. Lee, had released an opinion on February 11, which was Thursday, that basically was a 180-degree change from the prior policy. The new policy from Ms. Lee basically said that the SEC would not waive any prohibitions against companies that had broken securities rules in a litigated settlement. In other words, the SEC would provide no guarantees in a settlement agreement that a company would be allowed to sell its securities in a Regulation D offering. I speculated yesterday that this meant Ripple had offered a large concession to the SEC in order to settle the case, and that was namely, I proffered that Ripple had agreed to be regulated in its sale of XRP to the extent.
So Miss Lee is filling in for Jay Clayton, who dropped the lawsuit and left the SEC. So they're all about protecting individuals so that we don't hurt ourselves. That's the thing with the SEC. So you got to respect them and understand that they are out to protect and preserve individuals no matter what. So this Gessler is coming in. He'll talk about this, but basically he's coming in but has not been confirmed by Congress yet. So this Miss Lee is standing in. It's going to be interesting. I mean, is this decision going to be made before Gessler even gets in? We'll see the timing of this. The other situation that is at hand is there is a global meltdown that's really being covered up financially. So there's a good chance that XRP will have to be cut loose and the markets will have to reopen simply for liquidity reasons, because XRP and the on-demand liquidity feature that they just got a patent for is about that on-demand liquidity. It's basically the greatest liquidity tool that the world has ever known. So it very well may come into play with this reset that, sooner rather than later, they need this liquidity. So to move assets, whatever assets they may be, quickly, and bring home all the money that's sitting in the traditional banking system, because you have to park money at the different banks. It's that's how it's all set up. So all right, let's listen to the rest of this.
Of filing a Reg D with the SEC and only to sell to large investors. But I also speculated that the about face in the policy statement was a rejection of that settlement agreement. In other words, SEC said no to the settlement. But not so fast. Literally, while I was videotaping yesterday's vlog, SEC Commissioners Ms. Pierce and Mr. Roisman issued their own statement, which kind of blew my mind as very abnormal. So here is the conclusion from that statement. Quote, "For the reasons stated above, we disagree with Acting Chair Lee's attempt to rescind that policy by directing the Division of Enforcement to decline to recommend contingent settlement offers to the Commission for consideration. This change marks a return to an unwieldy process that treats as completely separate what is in fact interrelated. It reintroduces an artificial separation."
So he mentions this, and it is pretty intense that there is a public split within the SEC about Ripple in this situation. So, I mean, this is going to be taken care of, if for no other reason, for political reasons, because the SEC, I mean, they have just made complete asses out of themselves, and they look stupid as a regulatory body over this. But this wasn't done just to regulate, to do this. This is coordinated. They had to do this for the powers that be. That's what I'm saying. I mean, there's a reason they're doing this. It's a timing thing, and it's going to be released and settled exactly when it's supposed to be. And that's going to change the market structure completely. Right now, it's difficult for people in the U.S., whether it's, I mean, I think institutions can still go over the counter in many regards, but some of that's closed down, I think, and a lot of the exchanges are shut down. You really can't. They have penned in XRP to the U.S. markets, and that's what really would be making it scream right now, in a way. So, anyways, all right, let's get back to this real quick.
Between the process by which an entity reaches a resolution on its violations of securities laws and the process by which it obtains clarity with respect to the collateral consequences of those violations. The result will be a longer period between initiation and resolution of enforcement matters. We do not see how this outcome advances either the Commission's mission or serves the interests of investors. Close quote. I saw this and I couldn't believe what I was seeing at first last night. First, the chair of the SEC is kind of the boss, even though she's only acting chair until Gessler is confirmed by Congress and then he takes over. So the two commissioners are directly contradicting the head of the agency. Wow, it's so rare. Kind of still boggles my mind now. I would point out in these hyper-political times that Ms. Lee is a Biden appointee and Ms. Pierce and Mr. Roisman are Trump appointees, I believe. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But right now there are only 4 commissioners, and I think it's definitely worth your time to listen to Commissioner Pierce describe how the commission votes and how it operates on whether litigation is to be begun against a company like Ripple.
Yeah, I think one thing that sometimes can be a bit difficult for people from outside the agency to understand, and it because every agency is different, and ours is one that's run by this commission, which is made up of 5 people, and I'm one of those 5 people. And so when we adopt a rule or when we authorize an enforcement action, we're all sitting there together and we all vote for it. And so if there are 5 people on the commission and 3 of the 5 vote for something, it will move forward.
You can watch the full interview on Forecast News YouTube channel, really good channel. So that is how the commencement of litigation is begun, by a majority vote. But I cannot find a corresponding rule on whether a vote is required for a settlement. At first I thought it would be required, and maybe before 2010 it would have been required, but in 2010 it seems like all executive functions of the SEC were placed with the power of the chair, in this case Ms. Lee. Look down at Reorg Plan 10, quote, Reorg Plan 10 formally transferred from the full commission to the SEC chair responsibility for all executive and administrative functions, close quote. So the big question is, what does this mean for the Ripple lawsuit? And for me, the question is, what could be such a big deal that really the subordinates of the SEC chair felt compelled to release a statement directly contradicting their boss the day after the SEC chair released her position statement? To me, this just solidifies my thought, really my speculation from yesterday, that there was an offer of settlement from Ripple to the SEC. There are no other issues out there big enough to cause 2 SEC commissioners to feel the necessity to contradict the chair's position on this. And I will tell you that Ms. Pierce, who I've been listening to and reading about recently, and you just saw being interviewed, she understands the crypto world, and I would say she is a proponent of crypto, and she understands how important it is to our country for this new world economic currency to be here and not in Japan or some other country. So it makes complete sense to me that she would put her neck out on the line in order to try and make this settlement happen. But the bottom line is that I believe the power to set this guidance is with the chair, Ms. Lee. And if what is happening is what I think is happening, it's Ms. Lee that would kind of be gumming it up. But the fact that Pierce and Roizen feel so strongly about this issue that they would release a counterstatement the day after suggests the issue is not over, and they would be fighting to get the settlement to happen within the confines of the SEC's internal policies and politics. And the issue is not over because Ms. Lee will only be head of the SEC until Mr. Gensler is confirmed as the new head of the SEC. Now, after that happens, he will then make the decision. And when will he be confirmed? He's not even scheduled to be voted on yet that I'm aware of because Congress has been a little busy with, insurrections and impeachments and that type of thing. But once he is confirmed, this decision will be squarely in his lap. And although Gensler is not a deregulationist by any stretch of the imagination, he is a crypto guy, and he is not going to want to see Ripple leave to Japan. Now, this is just my opinion, and it's as good as yours, but I believe that Gensler will approve the settlement that I believe Ripple offered as the SEC. So what I am seeing in these statements is kind of a public airing of grievances of an issue central to the behind-the-scenes negotiations that I think are going on with Ripple and the SEC currently. A settlement that would be good enough for Ripple and great for us as owners of XRP. As you may recall, my previous thought was that the Ripple case was likely to settle towards the end of the year, maybe in October or November at mediation, and I now have a new opinion. I would suggest that we see a settlement either before the 22nd, which is the pretrial conference, or shortly after Gensler's confirmation. I no longer believe the most likely outcome here is that this case goes to the end of the year. The main reason I sense this is not because I trust in Gensler so much as because I sense that Ripple is conceding more than I had previously imagined, and therefore I feel that the sides have come so much closer to an agreement than I imagined would be possible before really on Ripple's behalf. So everyone keep your eyes down, your ears open. I sense.
So yeah, worth a listen to. That's a little bit long to play, but I wanted to get that out to you guys so you see. We'll have the link for the full video, which is only a few more minutes than what we listened to. It's kind of a short video, but worth listening to if you're interested. He's got some interesting opinions on the matter, and let's move on to something else here. So let me just queue up one other one here. I think we're going to pop out here 1 second here. Okay, so just to set this up, this is from James Rule XRP, but it's actually through Kevin Cage. So give those guys both a follow. I know James Rule XRP has been putting a lot of stuff out there, and Kevin Cage has a phenomenal channel too. So like and subscribe both those guys, and thanks for the content, you guys. And let's have a quick listen to this.
Talk too much, and then I want to show you some insane connections at the end of this video. Props to all that can stick around, and appreciate all that like and sub.
Where do you feel that XRP, just based on your honest opinion, is going to hit, say, a month after regulation?
Yeah. So we believe that the last domino to fall on regulation right now is the SEC lawsuit, and that could be resolved in a variety of ways, but it could also be resolved in regulation coming in over the top. We know it's imminent, though, right? So when I say imminent, I would be surprised if a quarter from now we're really still embroiled in the SEC lawsuit.
1 quarter from now.
I think wow. the state of affairs throughout the world is such that we're going to need a solution like an XRP for liquidity purposes sooner rather than later. So the question is then, okay, we've magically resolved it. Where does the price go? It's easy to project that it
Did you see how hard he said easy there?
Where does the price go? It's easy to project that it's a double-digit number. So I think it immediately shoots up to a $10, potentially $20. The wild card.
And FYI, for all of you XRP community YouTube police upset that I quoted this guy in the title, if he's emphasizing that, and of course we've been talking about this for several years, yes, I may have some take profits at double digits, but my strategy is I've always been open, is I'm going to be holding a portion for life. Now I say at least 20% of my current holdings for life because I can afford to do so, and that's a personal choice and a personal risk I'm taking. I also escrowed a very small amount of XRP that will actually be sent to my wallet a few years from now just for fun to kind of play with the features of the XRP ledger, because it's much more than just XRP, guys. We can issue currencies. We have a DEX built in. There's a lot of things that make this really just primed to be one of the dominant assets in the future. And everybody focuses on current price. Oh, XRP's not $1. This guy went up 800%. Nope. Good investors focus on future price.
That is a really good point. It's not just about XRP. Keep that in mind. It's about the XRP ledger. A lot of stuff's being built on it. Supposedly, and they have talked to over 50 central banks. They're going to be building things, i.e. CBDC functionality on the XRP ledger. So a lot of stuff going on, and it is, quite a bit to do with that, not just XRP.
So now he talks about this wild card scenario. This is the disclaimer. This is not financial advice. It goes in line with a lot of the things that we've heard over the years. So I have an open mind. I'm not going to give a price limit to XRP. A price limitation is a price prediction. So I have an open mind. The fact that, we even exist is pretty crazy. So in my mind, anything's possible. So listen to this.
Or potentially $20. The wild card to me is that there is actually a deal to be done among the central banks and governments to basically have XRP work as the world's bridge currency, a neutral asset that could be traded between the central banks to move a specific type of fiat to another type of fiat.
And so the valuation of XRP, as he's about to say, goes to $10,000 plus instantly in this scenario. Now, I'm not going to act like this is guaranteed to happen, but yeah, you're damn right. I entertain the thought, and I know I'm going to get yelled at for even showing this video clip, but to me, this is beyond fascinating. So do not go take out a loan and over leverage yourself. Do not leverage trade. Do not, go all in. Everything I invest is something that I am willing to lose. So please, even though I'm saying...
Totally agree, and this is not financial advice, people. You know that. Just throwing it out there. It's fascinating. The thing that people need to realize when you're moving money is you have to have that middle token. You either go through the traditional banking system that you have right now, where you go through bouncing around bank after bank after bank, everyone's taking their fees, or you have one medium central token that can flip any asset. You want to trade bananas for oil, you can do it on XRP with the XRP ledger with XRP. It's crazy. You can make up anything, any IOU, any treasury bill from any government, anything you can flip. And you take your bananas, turn it into XRP into oil. And you have to have that medium that's a trustless token that XRP could potentially be. And it could be, there's going to be other ones too, Stellar, Bitcoin, who knows. I mean, with the Flare network, you have all sorts of different possibilities with DeFi. But it does seem, that you're not meeting with central banks. You're not meeting with the OWL and all these higher ups, people from, just the most elite of the elite as startups for no reason. They're not taking your meeting. So anyways.
That I know people still will. I wanted to show this clip because it is quite interesting to actually hear other people saying this. And, people I speak to as well that are higher up there in the, totem pole, so to speak, have said very similar things. So really makes you wonder.
If if that's what occurs, it's back to what we were discussing earlier. It's got to cover kind of all the money. And I think
all the money. That is a famous quote from Stephen Thomas, former CTO at Ripple, that went to leave and now is leading what? The micro payments, the streaming of payments, the web monetization of the XRP ledger with coil.com, COIL.com. You can go read about that if you're brand new as well. All the money, people. Interledger Protocol, the baby of Ripple, their creation, that's also working with Hyperledger. Amazon.
So what do you mean by all the money? It means everything. All your derivatives, which is a multi-quadrillion dollar market. Your T-bills from all governments, bonds, stocks, everything.
Not Amazon. Apple, the company, was quoted, and even Stephen Thomas showed it in a video and he shared it. He said that Apple called Interledger Protocol, ILPR, Interoperability Protocol that can use XRP, the Amazon of the kind of the Internet of Value, I believe. I'm paraphrasing the last thing, that they compared it to Amazon with routing payments. That's what it was. So go check that out. It was mind-boggling. I did a video on that like a few months back.
you're looking at a range that XRP would settle on agreement. So this would happen instantaneously, somewhere between $10,000 and $35,000 a coin. And our lives will be, maybe the same, maybe different. I don't know. Probably a little different.
Yeah, I would assume a little different. And then I guess Kevin has to host probably.
So yeah, so at 10,000, 100 XRP that is now about $60, $55, $60 is worth $1 million.
I'm not buying a yacht. I would be renting a little party for us. But anyways, we're going to keep going, guys. Take that with a grain of salt, but I just wanted to share that with you. We've seen some crazy things happen in 2020. 2021 is even crazier. Bitcoin's still rocketing, alts are popping left and right, and XRP is just coiling up. And yes, I know this lawsuit, the allegations are frustrating, but I buy the blood when everybody's afraid to buy. They're all buying assets that are already up 1,000 or 1,000%.
Okay, so yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. Every once in a while we'll visit XRP and Ripple and see what they're up to, because it's a very important token in the crypto space. There's no doubt it's an important company and token, and this lawsuit is going to define a lot in the space, I have a feeling. We'll see. There's not a lot of tokens that you can contemplate realistically with what they do and what their use case is, and now you're seeing it starting to be used, at least, where it's like, could go down to 20 cents, could be 35,000 a token. That's pretty rare. So anyways, that's it. Just wanted to get that out there for the people in XRP. There's a lot of people that hate it. There's a lot of people that, they obviously have a strong, large community. So for the XRP army, just put that out there for the new people that, there's a lot of tokens to look at. That's way up there in the top 10. It's typically third. It's fallen down to the sixth one as far as market cap goes. Yeah, so anyways, have a good night. We will talk to you soon. Be good to everyone, and don't give up. Talk to you soon, people. See ya.